today's designers have to think a lot more about what's happened, what's happening now, what's going to happen next. If you go back 300 years, William Penn laid out Philadelphia with a really innovative plan. He made Market Street and Broad Street 100 feet wide. That was unheard of back then, all right? But it turned out to be a great plan because he was thinking about different uses for those streets, not just transportation, because there weren't that many vehicles back then. We got into the 60s, we got into the highway mode. Everything looked like a highway. Everything was how fast can you go, all right? And how much volume can you do, right? We weren't thinking about making sidewalks walkable. We weren't thinking about accessibility, all right? We weren't thinking about bicycles, right? It was just how fast can you get there? Then we saw crash rates start to rise, right? So now we got to adapt again. Today, what are we looking at, right? We're looking at pedestrians, bicycles, cars, trucks, buses, disabled users, right? Sidewalk cafes, pedestrian plazas. Our streets haven't gotten any wider, but we have to be able to find that balance, right? What do? We're working with getting information from advocacy groups, community groups, taking this all in. Unfortunately, we can't accommodate everybody. So in the end, that's when I have to start making the tough decisions based on what we can. And sometimes one group will get preference in a certain area. Other times another group will. And every once in a while we get to have a really nice balance where everybody gets equal treatment. But that doesn't happen very often. We have a 300-year-old city. The street system is already laid out. So our designers have to think about what's next, right? Now, if the city streets department has a document that is called Complete Streets, and it's available on the Philadelphia's website. And we've actually started divvying up the sidewalk now into different zones to help us plan and better balance the usage. We have a furniture zone that's where we can plant trees, have benches, trash cans, signs, things like that. The walking zone, all right, for the pedestrians, all right. I have no intention of doing a texting zone, all right. And then we have the building zone, which is the area just outside of the building. People don't like to walk right up against the wall, all right. You have to have room for getting in and out of the buildings. And then sometimes you have to try and find a space based on how many pedestrians there are. You know, can you have a sidewalk cafe? Because one thing we found, that helps spur the economy. You know, and so we have to think about commerce also. So it's not just what looks nice. We have to have a good walking experience. We have to have a good driving experience. And if you balance all these out, you wind up with something that actually helps the economy of the area. So it's an ongoing thing, and it's something we have to impress on all of our designers, you know, that you have to listen to the advocacy groups. They have an agenda, yes, because they're looking out for a special interest, but they have a lot of information that we can use. And they've actually helped me many times with data that helps me do a better design. So that's one thing that's important for us, for our designers, to be looking at the users and trying to think about what's next. William Penn did it 300 years ago. There's no reason why we can't do it today. Thank you.